So how did we ended up here? Meaning people building their countries on my back. Okay, so I remember in high school, okay, because it was all set up. So I would say they're not my friends, because friends don't do that to you. But I remember I used to travel to my high school from another neighborhood because they had more English classes. I wanted to practice my English because I was an ESL student at the time. So I met different people from like different backgrounds, and some of them, they were interesting. So 2 girls were from Somali and 1 girl is from Ethiopia. So we became close, but I can tell they were kind of like excluding me, and I didn't understand why. I thought it's because like I was half Sudanese, but it's not, because I've seen them interact with other Sudanese women, right? So, they just keep saying East Africa, East Africa, East Africa, right? Horn of Africa. And they were trying to put other East Africans or like other Africans down. Like they were trying to make it look like it's my fault, or I don't know, they were just too desperate for something, but I didn't understand why. I was really young. I was, 17, Again, I was not, race-centered. Even now, I'm not race-centered. I don't give a fuck, I was going to school. I was going to my acting classes. I was taking dance. I didn't care, They were the ones that talking about this kind of stuff. So, and I remember the Ethiopian girl, her name, it kind of like mimicked mine because I have an English last name and my name is Sarah. It's white name, right? And then I remember the teacher. Okay, she was an Indian teacher. She has an accent. Our ESL's teacher. Out of nowhere, she mentioned that people who have like white names, they get more opportunities. Again, she was trying to make me feel guilty for something. I don't know, like how dare you or something. And then fast forward, right? She told us to write a yearbook, separate, like for ESL students. And I finished mine fast. And it's not because, I was like white passing or white, like black passing. I don't know. I don't give a fuck, I literally was taking 2 buses to go to school and practice my English. And I became good at writing. It could be because it's in my genetics, who knows? But that doesn't give her the right to, take my work and credit somebody else, right? So I finished first. I was the first person to finish my, my yearbook, my sentences and stuff like that. And she said, I expect a lot from you. So can you write another paragraph and stuff like that? I said, okay. She didn't even bother to check, my name, whatever. She just submitted it, right? And I remember like she literally didn't teach us about copyright. I don't know why she didn't do that, but yeah, so that kind of like affected my self-esteem, because like when you work for somebody else, you're not using your work is not going for you, the credit. Somebody else is using it, they're benefiting off of you. So and then I brought that up because the Ethiopian girl, right? Again, she has an Ethiopian last name, right? And then like her government name is my mom's last name, right? Because my mom is Ethiopian. And then her Facebook name, her image, it mimics mine. It's like with an S, like Sir John, but it's a Ethiopian name. And then her first name, it mimics my first name, So I'm like, what the fuck, right? Like looking back, I was young. I didn't know people were like plotting and stuff behind my back, right? So you know. And then the yearbook, I was talking a lot about Ethiopia, right? Like the image and stuff like that. I was like putting Ethiopia and stuff like that. You guys, again, I'm really young, right? And then I mentioned that I have Italian in me, so I'm really good at like finding pictures and just like putting like good images out there, you know. But I didn't know I was getting scammed, you know. So how did they do it? Is they literally like excluded me. The Somali girls and the Ethiopian girl, and then the Indian women, you know what I mean? And I put them all in the same category because they're all like Semitic. And I say that because one day, right, I mentioned that I had theater. I was taking theater, you know. The Ethiopian girl was writing scripts, right, in Amharic. You know, I speak Amharic too. You know, but I'm mainly English, so I'm not gonna deny a large percentage of my genetics. It's just, it is what it is. Just deal with it. I don't care. So, you know, so she wrote the script, and then the Indian teacher, she was like, they were smirking. I don't know why they were smirking. I'm like, what's going on? Like, I don't know. I'm like, I just brushed it off and I just like moved on, right? So after they like excluded me, the Somali girls and then the Ethiopian girl, right? They made me feel like I was not Ethiopian enough, so I started like hanging out with you know, the Asian girls, another like you know, this girl from like Fiji, two girls from Fiji, and then one girl from Vietnam. So, you know, even that, they were plotting. Like when we were like sitting in the cafeteria room, like me and my so-called friends, you know, they would like sit close to us, the Somali girls. I don't know why. The Somali girl and the, you know, the Ethiopian. And then you know, the Ethiopian girl, I remember she used to take the train a lot. Her and the other Somali girl, they used to go and take the trains, and they tell it to me. They're like, oh, we're going on a sky train, blah, 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 sky train, sky train. They mentioned that a lot around me. You know, I'm like, why are you guys mentioning sky trains? Like, it's super weird, you know, because it was the school that I went to, it was Queen Elizabeth Secondary School. It was in Surrey, BC, right? And then there's the train. The last train stop is close to my school. It's called King George Station, okay? And then there's Surrey Station. I'm like, why are you guys mentioning this to me? Like, it's super weird, like, looking back, right? And, you know, I felt like they were trying to, they set me up. So, like, they excluded me. They set me up with, the Asian community so they could, like, get, you know, public transportation or whatever, like in Ethiopia, which they got, you know. Am I making this up? Like, why is my back hurt? Why did the so-called the Asian community aimed for my back, you know? And then they went to Ethiopia and built a train at my expense, you know? It's just like everything is just not adding up, you know? It just doesn't make sense, you know? So, you know, on top of that, why is it a train, you know? Because again, my back is like shaped like, you know, a train, where everybody's back, like the spinal cord, right? It's super weird, you know? So I elevated their image, and, you know, and the thing that I put on my yearbook for the Ethiopian community was a person that runs fast, and like the train runs fast, right? So very sketchy, right? And then on my algorithm, like my YouTube algorithm, I keep seeing a lot of you know, like this, like China, like building homes in Africa, like all of it look the same. Like, why is it on my timeline, you guys? I want to know, why is it on my YouTube algorithm? And then, like, because I got my own place, right? And I bought a car at the time when I was 24. Like, I literally cut off those friends because I felt like I was not progressing. I wonder why. Like, something was holding me back. I don't know what the fuck was holding me back. So I, you know, moved out, you know. I was not talking to my mom because I don't know who was sabotaging me, whatever. And I know what I'm capable of. So I was driving home, right? And then the Ethiopian girl that was like sabotaging me, she was so offended that I was not hanging out with them. I found her in my neighborhood waiting for a bus. As I was like driving, I could see her just like staring at me with this like demonic ass looking eyes. And then on my like Snapchat, whatever, and then the other Somali girl was like sending me subliminals. I'm like in your neighborhood, whatever, and I was like getting gang stalk, quote unquote, like so much like mind games, to the point where like I ended up like losing my car and my house. And then like when you go on YouTube, because they fucked up with my name too, so like not YouTube, when you go on Google and you type my name, because like I'm in debt, like it says like I'm in debt, in Google, because of my car and stuff like that. Like I was so paranoid, I don't want to leave the house because they were fucking harassing me in my new neighborhood. I don't even know how they found out. And then and I'm like, okay, what the heck is going on? The older I got, right? So I like searched their names. One of them is like has like a skincare line, and then the other one is like, she's a high school educator and stuff like that. And I felt like, again, they were competing with me. They're trying to like fuck up my reputation and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, now I know the game. I know what the fuck you guys are trying to do. But my resume, that's just a little era. I'm just gonna turn it around, make it work in my favor. That's all. Like, you have to do all of that just for a little bit of representation, and I'm out here posting like millions of contents. I don't say millions, but like it's almost close to a million, But anyways, so that's the side of my story. You guys, I literally cut off everybody that I went to school with because they were just like getting jealous for no reason, and I got tired of it. So that's that. Yeah, again, I don't have a problem with people, building their community, but don't do it at my expense. Like, no, So yeah. And the housing situation and stuff like that, you guys know like who I was like renting from and stuff like that. The same community from the girl that was like teaching me, girl or woman, I don't know. Anyways, so that's that. Like, now you know why I'm broke. Now you know why I'm in debt. But the good thing is I invested in my image and my resume, because the time that I moved from that area, whatever, like I was not communicating with them, I invested a lot of time on my career, so my resume looks amazing, And then Fort St. John, I was like working in Fort St. John too. At that time, I didn't have a lot of connection, a lot of contact with a lot of people, but they were still like watching me on Facebook. At that time, they wanted to be my friends when I moved here. And then that's another story time. So I met this girl, quote unquote, she's Ethiopian, 100% Ethiopian, right? She would like invite me. She's like, come over on my day off. Like she got really friendly, Again, maybe the reverse psychology was still like in my mind because they made me feel excluded. And then when I get successful, they want to refill that hole that they dug in the first place. I don't know, metaphorically. The insecurity that they caused in the first place. Just when I'm successful, this when they show up, As a young person, you don't see it. It doesn't feel right, but you're just like, it's whatever, right? You're not listening to your intuition, that was me. But I learned now, right? So one day, is it one day? Yeah, I remember she made like lasagna again, because I'm like 20% Italian. Like I'm more Italian than black. Like, I put Ethiopians in the black category, or Semitic. I don't know what they identify as. So, she mentioned her dad was in the military and he visited her. And then, she was like, oh, the Italians tried, again, she was trying to use white guilt on me. She's like, the Italians tried to like colonize Ethiopia, but they didn't succeed. But you still want me to be there. You said they were never colonized, right? Like you said, you kicked the Italians out, but like you are forcing me to visit your home by force to eat Ethiopian food. Like what are you trying to do, you know? So I think it's just about like social status in terms of like countries and like continents and stuff. Because when she made the lasagna food, I know for sure she poisoned me because I was getting sick. And I remember I was like, getting sick for no reason, you know. And then when she cooks the Ethiopian food, nothing happens to me. So is it about history, or is it about like competition, like who has the best food? I want to know, and then like one day I was just like relaxing, because you guys know I like to go to Winners, by the way, which I heard is an Italian store, it's not Ethiopian store. I was just relaxing there, right? And then I see her out of nowhere, because that's just my hobby. I like doing that, I like shopping. And then she's like, come over to my house. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I found you here, blah, blah. I was like literally trying to avoid her. I don't know how she knew, I was trying to avoid her from inviting me. I'm like, I wanna go back to me. I wanna be me. I wanna shop. I wanna be in a store. And she was there. Like, bro, and then, that's it. And like one day, right, because I bought beer and I was like at home. And then they were calling me because they made Ethiopian food. At that time, I caught up to it. I'm like, I'm tired now. I don't want to go there anymore. So they were calling me. And I'm like ignoring them. And I just drank my beer and I went to sleep. I'm like, I want nothing to do with you guys. Just leave me alone. So, and then the other Ethiopian girl, like in high school, she said the same thing too. She's like, out of nowhere, she's like, did you know like we kicked out the Italians when we were here? Like here, no. And I'm like, why are you telling me this? I want to know, So, because I'm in the medical field, right? You meet different kinds of people. So I met like Italians, British people, and all of that stuff. So they mentioned to me that the way I remember people's name is my Italian side, like people who make names for themselves, And I'm like, why are you telling me this? At high school, like looking back, when I was making a name for myself, like it was weird, and she was copying my name. But yeah, it's nothing to do with like, countries and, race war. It's just about social status, That's all, And, and I was like watching this like colorism videos, cause like some like unambiguous black people, I'm not sure if like Ethiopians are unambiguous or they just like, because I don't know, because they get along with like other Africans, I'm not sure, right? So but they hate me, so it's weird. But yeah, this like unambiguous girl, she was like saying that like white people moving codes, and not white, but like people who are like mixed with white people, like biracial people, should like fight for like just social justice warriors. They should be that. And I'm like, why are you choosing biracial people to fight your fight? It's weird. And then she mentions a lot of like white people moving in code. Why are you bringing that up? Is it about like, zip code? Is that what you're saying? Like they have like nice neighborhood. They're like, we black people, we need to move as code. And she's like, comparing herself to white people. Is that what you're trying to say? That you want to live in a nice neighborhood? You want to have like nice countries? You don't want to have third world countries anymore? I don't know, and you wonder why, some people feel behind, because they're spewing hate everywhere they go, I don't care if you're poor. Like, you guys, I'm fucked up. Like, I have so many disabilities, but I don't go out of my way to just be evil because somebody has way more money than me, It's weird. To get your shit together, Maybe that's why no one wants to help you. Maybe that's why mixed people are like, fuck it, we're not fighting for the black community. You guys are on your own, You said you don't want mixed women to represent you, but you still like pay attention to what we're doing, where we're going. You copy us. It's weird, you steal our work, and then, you know, I don't know. It's like when it's convenience to them, that's like when we become, you know, part of a country, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's the same like being Ethiopian, because like literally nobody claimed me being Ethiopian before, until I was like working hard at my school. They're like, oh, she's Ethiopian. Until like I was like wearing makeup and stuff, because, you know, in Ethiopia, I don't think a lot of women care about makeup, but it's normal in Sudan. But as soon as I was like wearing makeup and dressing up and just looking classy and, you know, just being me, then now I'm Ethiopian, right? Yeah, I'm just, it's not honest what you're saying, so I don't know. Yeah. It's only when it's convenience to them, and then like once I realize this, once they got what they need, like once they build off of your back, they just throw you to the wolves out there. They're like, fuck it, we don't care, we don't give a fuck. Oh yeah, which brings me to another point, okay, about the train thing. So because I used to take the train all the time, right, in Surrey and, you know, New Westminster and stuff like that. But after I social climbed, by the time I was 24, I already reached up there, you guys, because I'm just a hard worker, right? So after I lost everything, then I went back to work, right? I put the Ethiopian community on my YouTube channel, and it went viral because of my MAC product makeup and my makeup skills from my Italian side, right? And my French fashion and all of that, because I have French in me, right? So anyways, after I lost everything, I went back to work, and now I'm like taking trains and all of that stuff. And then because people do watch the stuff that you are wearing when you're like representing like a country or somebody's culture, right? So I take a train, and the Chinese community, or they just sit close to me. They're like, oh my gosh, we helped her build. That's what they're implying. We helped her build, you know, trains in Ethiopia and stuff like that, you know. And I'm like, out of all the places, you had to do it in New Westminster, where Queen Elizabeth was staying. And you guys know the architecture there, like the homes and stuff like this. It's like it looks like, you know, it's British based, but why do you have to do it there, you know? You know, like if you guys are working together as a collective, like minorities, right? Say like Ethiopian and Chinese people, I don't give a fuck if you guys do it. But you guys are doing it at my expense though, you know? So why do you need me? You said you don't need me, right? So why do you want me to represent you, that you build a train, you know? Like you look desperate. It doesn't look like you made it, you know? So, you know, and then on YouTube, it's like all over YouTube, they want me to watch it and share. I'm not doing it, you know? You're on your own. I'm not doing it, you know? So it was weird. Like, why do you guys have to be so close to me after you build it? You know, I thought you guys are working together separately, right? So why is that?